let's get started. Woo woo! Sorry, I'm like hot. Not in a fun way.
Hi friends, if my eyes are watery, I just put in eye drops, okay? How are you doing today? Are you having a good day? I sure hope so. My name is Bailey Sarian, and today is Monday, which means it's murder, mystery, and makeup. Hi. If you're interested in true crime and you like makeup, I would highly suggest you hit that subscribe button, because I'm out of breath. Okay, can I just tell you guys something really quick before I jump into today's story? Two things. One, I had COVID. Let me tell you. I give it 1 out of 5 stars. I would highly recommend you do not get that shit. It sucked, bitch. I was like, Jesus, I'm gonna see you, my guy. Oh, Jesus. I'm sorry, Jesus. You know, like, I saw the light. I saw it. I am gonna give it 1 out of 5 stars because I did get some really great sleep. But for the most part, avoid that shit. Please, highly recommend you do not get it, okay? 2, today I have a lot of new products. I feel like on my Monday uploads, I've been kind of using the same thing consistently, and I'll swap in some new stuff here and there, but today there's a lot of new stuff I'm gonna try. Not a lot, like 4. But that's a lot for me. So I'm telling you this only because if my makeup looks like absolute garbage, I haven't tried any of this. So, you know, just a little disclaimer, if I look like shit, sorry about it. It's that time of the year, everyone. The holiday season has officially arrived. I love the holidays so much. I mean, the lights, the decorations, the candles that smell like trees. But along with the holiday magic can come a very busy schedule. The family dinners, get together with friends if you have friends. No shade, I don't. But you can count on HelloFresh to get you some of your free time back by making cooking simple and quick. With HelloFresh, each recipes and pre-portioned ingredients arrive right to your door, so you can skip going to the grocery store and also just like cut out a lot of the prep. I personally, I'm not really a fan of going to the grocery store. I wander around for far too long. I'm like, what do I even like to eat? Who am I? I start having like a midlife crisis. So I love that HelloFresh delivers right to me, and you don't have to even worry about going to the grocery store. With HelloFresh, they have the quick and easy options, like the 20-minute meals and easy cleanup recipes that allow you to have like more time for other things, or maybe like just more time to enjoy dinner around the table with loved ones or by yourself. You're a loner like me. So they have like over 35 weekly recipes, and there's something to please even the pickiest eaters. Also, you can easily customize your recipes by swapping proteins or sides. You can like upgrade to choice proteins, or even add protein to a veggie meal if you wanted to. I freaking love HelloFresh because not only do they deliver everything you need right to your door, but also the meals are so good. And on top of that, I mentioned here many times, right? Like, I cannot cook. So with HelloFresh, they give you recipe cards that break down, like, step by step how to make the meal. So if you're like me and you're like, I don't know what I'm doing, like, look, they got you covered. You can do it. They make it so easy. Now, I have never met a HelloFresh meal that I didn't like, but my favorite one has to be the Thai coconut curry chicken. It has like cilantro, lime rice. Girl, let me tell you, it was so bomb. If this sounds like your cup of tea, go to HelloFresh.com and use code BaileySarian70 for 70% off plus free shipping. That's HelloFresh.com and use code BaileySarian70 for 70% off plus free shipping. Thanks, HelloFresh. So let's get into today's story. If you're ever curious to know what I'm using, I do leave it down in the description box down below. But other than that, let's talk about this young man. I'm just kidding, he's not young, he's old. Robert Mormon. Not the religion, just last name, Mormon. Yeah. Okay, let's get into it. So Robert Mormon, he was born June 4th, 1948. There's really not much said about like his upbringing But the things that we do know for sure is that as soon as Robert was born, his dad, like, just up and left, poof, gone, vanished. He was a magician, I guess. And with Robert's mommy, she very young. She was 15 years old, I guess, when she got pregnant. She was working as a sex worker, and not ideal. It was said that at 15, Robert's mom, she was a raging alcoholic. At 15. So, from the very, like, beginning, things for Robert, it's a little rough, to say the least. So, things are not too great for Robert. I think that's safe to say. And his mother, she doesn't want to be a mom. She's 15. She's drinking a lot. There's no actual, like, proof of this, but it was mentioned many times that people were pretty sure his mother drank heavily during her entire pregnancy, which, if that's true, not great, not ideal to be doing that. So the decks were pretty much all stacked against him. I think that's safe to say. Now get this, because it's like, okay, things are already pretty crappy, but then they get crappier. When Robert was 2 years old, his mom, she was involved in, like, a horrible car accident, and I guess, like, not to get graphic, but she broke her neck, and then she died. I know, she was only 17. So, this isn't gonna be good, right? This is the combination of something real bad, and that's why we're here, because after his mom's death, Robert was basically an orphan. I mean, yeah, he was. Robert went to go live with his maternal grandparents, but that didn't even last long because, surprise, surprise, I don't know if it's a surprise or not, but his grandfather was also a raging alcoholic. So it's just kind of like one bad situation to another. So it wasn't long after until the authorities came in and removed Robert from, like, the situation, from his grandparents' home, and they ended up placing him into the foster care system. And the poor boy, he bounced around to, like, 6 different foster homes, and then he was officially adopted by a couple in Arizona, and their name was Henry and Roberta Mormon. And this is also a side note, because it's, like, speculation or whatever, but I don't think Robert was this guy's name, like his real name, because his full legal name, now that he was adopted, was Robert Henry Mormon. So he was adopted by Henry and Roberta Mormon, and then his full legal adopted name was Robert Henry Mormon. Yeah, so it sounds like a combination of the parents' name, right? I mean, it doesn't even sound like it. It kind of is. I feel like it's not like a puppy, right? You can't just, like, change someone's name. I mean, you can. I'm sorry, you can. Maybe his name was really stupid or something. I'm not sure. But they changed his name. Mind you, when Robert is adopted, he's like 2 or 3 years old at this point, so I think he knew his name. But it's okay, they changed it. So, this is your new name now, sweetie. It was said that the couple, Henry and Roberta, like, she really wanted a kid. Henry says that he was a little weirded out by adopting. He didn't really want to do it, but Roberta wouldn't let up because it's always the woman's fault, So Henry was like, when everything happened, he was like, I said I didn't even want the baby. Just typical. Not typical, but am I surprised? Anyways, so Henry was a little weird about adopting Robert, but Roberta convinced him, and they went ahead with it. Okay, so they renamed the kid. Not bad, whatever. We're not judging, kind of. But other than that, Henry and Roberta, they were, like, very well-respected, active members in their community, and they were living in Flagstaff, Arizona. And Henry, he ran a taxi service, and Roberta, she had, like, lots of friends. She was very social, and many would say that she was the perfect, like, 1950s housewife, and the family kind of tried to paint this traditional all-American little family, and now that they had this little boy, America and, like, 50s tradition, yay. And the Mormons in general in their neighborhood, I mean, they were very popular, well-liked. If you've been watching these Monday episodes, like, if you're well-liked, popular, whatever, you could be a murderer. If you're crazy, psycho, whatever. You could be a murderer if you're tall, you could be a murderer if you're short, you're a murderer. Everyone's a murderer at this point. There are no more red flags. So Henry and Roberta, they, again, popular. People weren't quite feeling this new kid, though. Henry and Roberta, they're like, we love them. Wow, oh my God, they're so amazing. This new kid, Robert, people were like, something's a little off with him. Like, he just was a little weirdo. And I'm not saying that. They're literally, like, people in the neighborhood would call him a weird kid, a weirdo. They just thought he was weird. That's the only word people knew when referring to little Robert. I mean, again, this is the 50s. Obviously, if you're different in any way, shape, or form, it just doesn't go well for you. Life is gonna be a little rough. Like I said, Robert's brain was probably really, maybe a little off in the beginning because he potentially, maybe, we don't know, allegedly had fetal alcohol syndrome, also traumatically losing his mother at a young age, who also probably didn't even have the capacity to meet his needs in the first place, and then jumping from a bunch of different foster homes to his alcoholic grandfather. I mean, we don't need to even say anymore, right? The Mormon family, they didn't have other kids, but they had family members, aunts, uncles, cousins, all that stuff. They would all, I guess, talk shit about Robert. Like, no one really liked this guy. But here's the weird part. When I was kind of looking up, why they didn't like him, I'm laughing because it was always he was weird. No one liked him. He seemed weird. Okay? Robert in school did struggle. He had severe learning disabilities, and he was also placed in special ed classes. So, again, this theme of things not being that great, kind of just consistent throughout his life. And, yeah, I'm laughing because I keep saying the same shit, it's just not going great for him. It's just sad. Things were just really tough for Robert growing up, and, basically, he only had his adopted mother, on his side, or in his corner. One of his relatives said that Robert was almost like a, quote, throwaway child, end quote, yeah, and never received the same amount of love as any of the other, children his age. So it's okay, thanks. But his mother, his adopted mother, was always there for him. I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing. Well, bad thing. Why are we here right now, Bailey? I know. But even his relationship with his mom, it just not going to last forever, this good relationship. When Robert was 13 years old, he was committed to a state mental hospital after he, quote unquote, accidentally tried to shoot Roberta with his rifle. It happens. He was like, yeah, I accidentally shot her. And Roberta, she was all right. She wasn't hit or anything, but the bullet definitely grazed her, came by very, very, very close. Very close. And Robert claimed that he was just showing his mother the gun, and it accidentally went kabooey.
This isn't even mascara. I don't know what the fuck I just did.
Because of this little oopsie daisy, I accidentally shot my adopted mother. Robert landed himself in the mental hospital. Now, I couldn't find out how long he was there for, but I guess long enough that they made a note of it. Anyway, oh wow, this is a fun color. So that's pretty much all the information there is, about his upbringing and stuff. That it was bad. All of it was bad. That's what it said.
This is mascara.
I mean, both intellectually, emotionally. Robert was said to be, pretty behind as a human. Now, it was said that Robert really couldn't live on his own. Well, it's not that he couldn't. I think, from my understanding, he could live on his own, but it wasn't ideal. He wouldn't take care of himself and whatnot. So he would live with his parents. And then eventually it was him and his mom, Roberta, they became very dependent on each other. And it was even said that when Henry died in 1967, Robert and Roberta became attached at the hip, super creepy, where it's the older mother is clinging on to her child for comfort and control. Something. It was like that. Mommy dearest vibes. Robert did take a little initiative in 1972 when he ended up abducting one of the neighbor kids. Yep, here we go. Buckle in. When Robert was 24 years old, he ended up kidnapping one of the girls in the neighborhood she was 8 years old. Little girl lives in the neighborhood, not great. He then took her, this 8-year-old, to Vegas, allegedly sexually assaulted her multiple times on the way. And some later would say that Robert, his original target was the girl's mother, who he was having rape fantasies about her, and he wanted to kidnap her, which I guess she wasn't there, so he's like, I'll get the girl instead, you know? Well, whatever was the reason, no one could prove the mother theory, and no one really could even prove the sexual assault of the daughter. So when Robert got caught, because he got caught, he was charged with kidnapping, and he ended up receiving a sentence of 9 to life, which sounds about right. Robert would spend the next 12 years at prison in Florence, Arizona. His mother, Roberta, still loving him, visiting him often. She would drive 3.5 hours on the bus just to get to where Robert was, the prison he was staying at. She just wanted to support her son. I don't know, lady. I mean, okay. She stood by him no matter what he did. It was still her kid. So something interesting that happens, I guess, at some prisons for some kinds of crimes. So this prison, Florence prison, did something called a furlough. Now this is a break, a vacation from jail. Yeah, it's like a day pass. You get out of prison. They're like, hey, you can just go live, have some fun, just get back here in time for dinner. I don't know about you, but it seems a little different. You know, that's different. Are they gonna come back? Maybe. So with the furlough, you could get up to 3 days off of prison. Honestly, great deal. Sounds great. Sign me up, you know? And this is exactly what they did for Robert. Now, I don't know who decides who gets furloughed. Maybe good behavior is what I'm assuming. Hey, you've been here, you've been a real good boy. You can go outside and go potty for 3 days, come back. But they did. So Robert gets 72 hours of furlough. He's probably cool, Disneyland. Now, Robert didn't have many friends. I think maybe you can understand that. So, at least not any friends outside of prison. So naturally, when he's leaving prison, he's not going to go hang out with his friends. He's going to hang out with his mom, his mommy, Roberta. And yeah, Roberta, she's on board. So Roberta goes and she picks him up a 3-hour drive. Now, because they only have 72 hours together, Roberta's well, I don't want to waste 3 of those hours driving all the way back. Let's just get a hotel locally and we can stay there, and it kind of makes sense, right? It's not very far from the prison. She doesn't have to do that long drive, and they could just hang out in the hotel room. Sounds creepy, right? But okay. So I know a lot of you at home are doing the same exact thing I'm doing right now, which is if you're furloughed, why don't you just pick up and leave? Why go back, right? So the happy couple ends up booking a hotel room at the Blue Mist Hotel, and it's a local motel. What's the difference between hotel and motel? I always forget. Anyways, but it's close by, okay? They're staying here. They're going to hang out. They're going to spend some time together without having the prison glass barrier in between them. Probably hang out at the pool, have a couple brewskis. I don't know. Blue Mist Hotel sounds fancy. The two of them, they check in the first day, right? Now they lay low. Nobody really sees them doing anything. They're not being weird yet. They're just paying customers at this point. However, the next morning, Robert is seen at a local store, and he's buying a buck knife, a steak knife, and some snacks. Now, the weird thing was, the snacks didn't need a knife. So it was okay. Anyways, nobody sees Roberta, though. It's only Robert who's seen buying these items. Then, after that, Robert's a little hungry, so he stops at the pizza parlor, where allegedly he knew the owner. I don't know how, but he did. This story is weird. There's just lots of information that was driving me nuts that I could not find. But Robert stops at the pizza parlor. He knows the owner, and he's like, hey, what's up? How's it going? You're working at the pizza parlor. Wow, I love pepperoni. It's so great. So during this conversation, Robert tells the friend or the owner of the pizza parlor, he's like, yeah, my mom, she hasn't been feeling well all morning. So, I gotta go stop and pick up a few things for her. Just kind of something in passing, right? Keep that in your noggin. After going by the pizza parlor, he goes back to the hotel, and he goes to the front desk, and he tells the same thing to the staff member. He's like, my mom's not feeling well, she's kind of sick. Don't send housekeeping because she's sick. Robert, after saying this to the front desk person, he then kind of has this moment where he's like, actually, can I get some disinfecting spray? You know, so the person at the front desk gives him a disinfecting spray. You know, maybe he's a germaphobe. Maybe mom is sick. But, okay. So he gets it. Robert, what you up to? You don't know? So that happened. And throughout the 3 days, the 72 hours that Robert was out, it was said that he was seen and interacted with, like, a lot of people throughout the days. Like, later that morning, his second day at the hotel, one of Roberta's friends actually comes by. She drops off a suitcase. So she's getting all sorts of suspicious. I guess Roberta had, like, forgotten her suitcase, so the friend comes out, brings it, drops out the door. Robert answers, and she's like, hey, I'm here to drop this off. And Robert tells the friend, like, oh, she's not here. She's not here right now. She's visiting someone. She's like, that's interesting, but okay. And right before the friend's about to leave, Robert is like, hey, can you actually throw away these garbage bags for me? They're kind of heavy, like, can you throw them away for me on your way out? So he gives the garbage bags to the friend. And as you can imagine, I don't know, maybe there's something in the garbage bags. One thing the friend did mention, though, was that when she peeked into the room, kind of like behind Robert, she saw that Roberta's bag, her purse, her pocketbook, was still in the bedroom. So she was getting all sorts of funky feelings, like, something ain't right here. These trash bags are weird. So then he goes back to the pizza parlor from earlier. He tells the acquaintance, the pizza parlor owner or whatever, that his mom is feeling a lot better and she went out to visit a friend around like 6 p.m. Right now it may not sound that weird, but when you really think about it, could you imagine you're at work and someone comes up to you, a friend, and they just are like, hey, my mom's feeling better. She's going to go visit a friend at 6 p.m. And you'd be like, okay, and, you know, like, why are you telling me this? It's a little weird, Robert. Anyway, so then he casually asks his friend, the pizza parlor guy, to help him throw away some, quote, cow guts. So I have a feeling it's not a cow, but he's cow guts. He has cow guts, I guess. I don't know. This world is just weird. Anyways, the pizza parlor guy, yeah, he's like, something's not right. Like, I need to call the cops immediately. So as soon as Robert leaves, the parlor owner calls the police, which was 100% the right thing to do in this situation. I totally forgot. He's furloughed right now. He's a furloughed inmate, and he's asking for someone to get rid of cow guts. Yeah. So you should probably call the police. Good idea. Police go out to the hotel that Robert and his mother are staying at, right? So police arrive at the motel room at around 10:30 p.m. Now, Robert
The nails,
answers
and
the
then
door,
I'm gonna film some
and says,
TikToks.
yeah, I'm here with my mom, but she's actually out visiting someone. And then they're like, well, when did she leave? Like, asking further questions. And Robert tells the police that, you know, he's like, well, thank God you guys are here because I'm actually really nervous. Like, she's been gone since 6 p.m. and she's not home. It's 10:30, right? She's not home and she needs to take her medicine. So he's telling this to the police. Like, I'm worried. Well, I guess the police, they just leave. I mean, there's nothing they can do.
Anyway, this is the luck for Grumpy Bear from the Care Bears. As always, please make good choices. Don't do anything I wouldn't do. And be cautiously kind to others. Bye, guys.